Toussaint is my Haitian name. My name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
Did my mother meet him?
She did. We agreed it was better for him to grow up here, away from the pressure of the throne. But he didn't want us to go to the funeral, because he felt the time was not yet right. Your Baba prepared us for his death, didn't he?
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Toussaint is a beautiful name. It holds a great history.
My mom says you're good at keeping secrets. Is that true?
Yes, I can keep a good secret.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel finally released Black Panther: Wakanda Forever on streaming, so we'll explain what's going on with T'Challa's son, the post-credit scenes, and how they plan on using the character going forward as the new version of Black Panther. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're also doing a giveaway for IMAX tickets for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, since that's coming out really soon. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with T'Challa's son, young T'Challa, Prince T'Challa, going forward. Careful for spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming most of you have by now. But there are a couple scenes at the end of the movie, like Namor's last scene, which is a completely separate thing from the mid-credit scene, which is T'Challa's son, Prince T'Challa. Just to briefly address the Namor scene, because he will continue to be a big character in Marvel Phase 5 and beyond, like he's the beginning of mutants popping up in the MCU proper, explaining why they've been here this whole time and we're not seeing them until now. He's been part of a number of comic book teams, like we talk about the Netflix Defenders coming back in the Marvel movies, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Namor was part of the original, real comic book Defenders. But in the MCU, Namora questions why Namor knelt to the Black Panther in Wakanda, and he claims that they formed a bond, that they shared tragic histories, the loss of their families, and they're much closer now, like he's much closer to Shuri, and eventually, if they wait, like if his people wait, the surface world will come for Wakanda, which they tease during the movie, because it's Val's grand plan is to take all their vibranium.
The president wants to take offensive action against Wakanda.
What type of offensive action?
Destabilization.
When that happens, he expects Shuri, who's acting as current Black Panther until T'Challa's son is old enough, to turn to them for help. That's part of the whole vibe of her version of Black Panther, is that she's a more stabby version of the character, a more angry version of Black Panther, influenced more by Killmonger. That's why her Black Panther suit has more gold highlights in it, because it's meant to be more showy, kind of like Killmonger's. It also looks more stabby just in general, like you might cut yourself just by touching her. So the whole idea with Namor going forward is that he's still planning his attack against the surface world. He's just biding his time, waiting for Wakanda's time of need, which will probably culminate around the end of Marvel Phase 5. There's a whole subplot with Captain America 4, New World Order, the Thunderbolts movie, and they're actually going to be using Tiamat, the Celestial that's jutting out of the Indian Ocean now, to introduce the MCU version of Adamantium as well. So there's a lot of X-Men, Weapon X, Wolverine, Vibranium stuff that's going to be happening towards the end of Marvel Phase 5. I've already done a bunch of separate videos about that stuff. I'll link those in the comments below. During the mid-credit scene, when we meet T'Challa's son, Shuri travels to Nakia's home in Heishi to spend time with her and just chill out after things have cooled off, finally performing their ritual Wakandan grieving ceremony on the beach, burning her funeral garments from earlier in the movie when she had tried to do it before Namor showed up to stop them. They have a bunch of cool flashback scenes to T'Challa as she's remembering him. It was a cool way to include him in the movie without doing some crazy deepfake situation, which I feel like would have just made people really pissed off. When she completes the ceremony, Nakia brings T'Challa's son to meet her. His Haitian name is Toussaint, but his true Wakandan name, as he says, is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa. Obviously, they intend him to become the next Black Panther eventually. I'll explain the timeline on that too, because people are wondering, are they going to age him up in like a future movie, or are they going to wait like 10, 12 years before we see him again? Don't worry, it won't be that long. Marvel does have big plans for this young T'Challa. And a lot of it flows with what's happening in the comics with the son of Black Panther. Although in the comics it's a little bit different. They've done it on the animated series as well too. He does have a son, but it's with Storm, like he gets married to Storm in the comics, and their son gets both her mutant powers and Black Panther's powers, and basically becomes like an X-Men version of the Black Panther. His name was Azari, and most of the comics that do feature him are stories from the future, or they're movies like Avengers Next, which take place in the distant future. I know there are a lot of questions about whether or not this T'Challa is going to have any natural powers because of the way he was conceived. I'll talk about that in a second. But Nakia explains their backstory, how they conceived the child. She explains T'Challa told her about his illness, that he was slowly dying before the snap, and they made a plan with her to raise the boy outside of Wakanda, away from the throne, just away from the general pressures of being raised as the prince. Originally, had Chadwick Boseman not died, a lot of the original story for what Black Panther Wakanda Forever would have been more of T'Challa with his son in the movie, and this whole idea of expectations and the way he'd planned to raise his son as opposed to the way he was raised by his father, King T'Chaka. And what I think they're going to do is they're going to give what Ryan Coogler had planned to do for Black Panther Wakanda Forever in T'Challa's storyline to the young T'Challa and make that like Black Panther 3 or Black Panther 4. Just to be real, I think they're probably going to wait till like Black Panther 4 before we see adult or older version of young T'Challa here taking the mantle of Black Panther. Like Black Panther 3 will probably be another Shuri Black Panther movie. But the new story for the character in the current MCU timeline, T'Challa wanted young T'Challa to have a normal childhood, and their mother, Ramonda, had met him. They had a moment like that earlier in the movie. It was kind of a deleted scene, but they allude to it when she went to Heishi to meet with Nakia.
Different material.
Yes, we use strictly what we can find here in Haiti.
You are missed.
When Nakia says that she met the boy, that's what she was talking about. She showed up then and knew about the boy and talked to him. We just didn't see the scene on screen because they deleted it. And because young T'Challa asks Shuri if she's good at keeping secrets and then reveals his true name, that's just them letting you know that she won't go back to Wakanda immediately and tell everybody like M'Baku and all the other people, Okoye. Even though they would be overjoyed at the thought that T'Challa had a child, they would immediately want to bring him back to Wakanda, which is exactly what older T'Challa did not want. The time is not right. They're basically saying, just wait a couple more movies before we bring him back in a big way. Nakia confirms that he was born after the snap. She'd already been prepared for T'Challa to die, and when he was snapped, she left before her pregnancy became so obvious that she was discovered. She and Okoye had a conversation about that early in the movie, like, why did you leave so quickly after everything went crazy? But the boy is meant to be about 7, maybe 8 years old, and Marvel's plan is that M'Baku right now is taking the throne of Wakanda, being the day-to-day ruler until young T'Challa is old enough to beat him in the challenge. Like they'll do the same thing that they did when T'Challa took the throne in the first movie, once young T'Challa is old enough. Like I said, expecting right now, just based on the way Marvel's pacing things out, that'll probably be around Black Panther 4, and that'll be sort of like their soft reboot of the new line of new Black Panther taking the mantle. Like we made a bunch of Lion King jokes during the first Black Panther movie because the plot is very similar to the Lion King movie. There'll probably be some light references and Easter eggs for that during Black Panther 4 or whatever that movie winds up being. The Circle of Life. And while this is all going on, like while young T'Challa is growing up and while M'Baku is busy with the day-to-day ruling of Wakanda, Shuri is just going to continue to be the Black Panther and just work on her technology. What'll probably wind up happening, though, is that when they're putting the Young Avengers together, heading up into Avengers Secret Wars, like we'll see teasers for that during Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, we probably won't see the actual Young Avengers team come together in like a real big way till after Secret Wars. But I firmly believe right now that they plan on this young T'Challa being a member of that Young Avengers while he's younger, teenage. Because I think the whole plan is that once he does become full Black Panther, like once he takes the mantle and takes the throne of Wakanda, then he would be on the regular Avengers. But until then, they'll probably cross him over with the Young Avengers. Because that's basically what they did with the Azari character. I firmly believe had Chadwick Boseman not passed away, Marvel would have made him the centerpiece of the upcoming, like Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5, Marvel Phase 6, and during Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, Avengers 6 Secret Wars, Black Panther would have been like one of the big characters next to people like Spider-Man and Kang, like the main characters of the movie, even though they're meant to be giant ensemble films with billions of characters. During each saga of movies, you need to have like a big backbone, like Iron Man and Captain America were the backbones of the Infinity Saga movies, Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. I firmly believe Marvel had originally intended to center Marvel Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6 around the Black Panther character. Spider-Man 2, couple other new characters they're introducing, but a lot of the new characters are just meant to be them trying new things, whereas Black Panther was meant to be like their sure bet, like this is our ringer that we're going to bring in that everybody loves. And because Chadwick Boseman did pass away, they just had to scramble and figure out a plan B. And their plan B is to reintroduce T'Challa, like they're not recasting, but they're giving you T'Challa back just in the form of his son. Just going to take a little while for him to age up. There are a lot of rumors about them doing a soft reboot of the Marvel Multiverse universe after Secret Wars, because that's kind of what happens during the comic book version of the more recent Secret Wars, where they have to rebuild the multiverse, but there are like a couple minor changes when they fix everything. There's a real easy way how they explain that some X-Men start popping up on Earth right after Secret Wars because they fix things in a slightly different way. They can do the same thing with young T'Challa, aging him up just a little bit faster during Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, because the whole idea is that Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty is sort of like a time travel-based Avengers movie. It's flat out the easiest way to show you future versions of characters, like the future version of this young T'Challa who has already become Black Panther. Early prediction, we will get a teaser for that during Avengers 5. And there's this whole conceit of the Kang Multiverse War with many different variants they teased that we would see in the future of Marvel. People have been wondering if they're going to do the Iron Lad, the young version of Kang. Maybe even that's going to be a version of Riri Williams playing the character, just pretending to be Riri Williams, but really it's just another Kang variant. But what if a young variant of Kang is pretending to be T'Challa's son instead? Everybody would really flip out if like a future Black Panther showed up claiming to be T'Challa's son. Like, I am the young Prince T'Challa, I have become king, but really it's just another Kang variant. But everyone, let me know in the comments, until then, like while we still have the young version of T'Challa, how do you want them to deal with him in future movies? Like Black Panther 3, do you also want another cameo from him? Because it sounds like they're still going to wait a little bit longer before they bring him back to Wakanda. Assuming it's going to be 3 or 4 years before the next Black Panther movie comes out, that would put it after Avengers Secret Wars, so it would be an easy way to age him up quite a bit. We're supposed to get new trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and maybe a trailer for the Marvels movie Captain Marvel 2, and a couple TV spots for Disney Plus series. We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be another Secret Invasion trailer. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I'll do videos for it. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss that. Everyone click here for that Black Panther Wakanda Forever deleted scene in connections to Secret Invasion. And everyone click here for my Invincible Season 2 trailer video and learn about Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming as one of the big villains of the series. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.